Hello and welcome to this video on more stop hunt technical analysis setups, and in particular we're going to be talking about the stop hunt pin bar candlestick entry. The stop hunt pin bar candlestick entry, I had a thought, and it was to do with pin bars, and pin bars are everybody's or the most recognized entry candle if you do trade candlesticks. When it comes to manipulations and levels and really understanding the pin bar candlestick and the mechanics behind it, pin bars are generally used as a reversal signal. So what I mean by that is if prices come up to a level, let's just put that there, yeah, and they come up to here, and you see a pin bar at this area, it rejects. Traders are generally going to say, okay, this is a reversal of some, an indication of a reversal. And then if prices go to the downside, then brilliant, traders make money. Then prices may come back up to this level and again produce some sort of pin bar, yeah, and in this area here you'll have a combination of traders, traders who will probably be trading from down at the the lows around here and are taking profit, where if you bought here you got to do what to exit? Sell are supply orders. If you're looking at a level and looking to get short and at a level of resistance or supply, then this is where you're going to be entering a new trade. To get short, you need to press what? Sell on your broker. So there's loads of sell orders here. Right, so there's a combination of profit taking and new traders obviously entering to the short side, yeah, and everybody make some money. Now, if we're taking into account the profit taking side of things and new orders and traders taking new trades to try and get short, if we see something like this where we have prices come up to a level and we get a pin bar, yeah, where we get a move that does something like this, what is, I've often wondered this, what is this area here? Because if this is potentially profit taking here, makes sense, or not if depending on what happened to the left of the chart, but this is maybe a newly formed level and a strong rejection. This is the one where most traders are going to look for confirmation to the left and say, I want to get short here, yeah, and they want to sell, etc. But when it comes to this area here, yeah, who is taking profit beyond an obvious level? Most traders will take profit either at a level or even just before a level, yeah, and who is entering short on a breakout, yeah, who's entering to go short on a breakout. And the question is if you're taking into account breakout traders, retracement traders and level traders, they're not really going to be entering short. There shouldn't be really a lot of supply orders within this area from the three technical disciplines. So this has to be, yeah, if it's not profit taking, and not much profit taking going on, because again, most traders would take profit before levels, and yourself, you want to take profit before everybody else. I talk about things like the crowded exit, so you're taking profit here, and some traders will take profit right at the level, yeah, because you don't want to be left holding the bag just in case prices reverse before it gets to that level, because it's reversed here and it's reversed here. So they're not taking profit here. And how many traders are actually getting short in real time? Because again, in real time, this candlestick here would have looked extremely bullish, and this is what it would have looked like. Yeah, if let's say, for example, the open was here and then the close was here, so in real time what would have happened, you would have seen something like this. Let's get a green candle, right? So you would have seen this candle would have looked very, very bullish. Yeah, right here. Again, as it goes higher and higher, who is fading the level around the highs above an obvious level? What strategic trader over here is going to be doing that? And then what you get is you get a collapse. So you get some supply that comes in, so much so that it closes down here. Yeah, so you get a nice bullish candle, and then by the say bullish candle, but within this candlestick's lifetime, it looked extremely bullish, and then it closed around the lows. Pinbar. So if there's really not much take profit going on here logically, or no one's really selling here logically, then my conclusion is that there has to be some sort of manipulation. And if you take into account everything that we've learned so far, in the course, chances are that this is a manipulation. Now, what does this look like, right? So, for example, we want to trade this Pinbar, stop hunt Pinbar candlestick is traded on the 4, 6, 8, 12 daily and even weekly levels, right? Higher time frames. Now, we can get a situation where this might be a 4-hour time frame. Let's just draw that. So this might be a 4-hour candle. Now, what we may see on a lower time frame is for prices to do something like this. It comes down, up, down, and then we get this, prices come up. And then in this area, we may get what is known potentially as, some sort of complex stop hunt, yeah, where, traders are being drawn into the upside, and we may not necessarily get what we would know as a stop hunt candle, because not every stop hunt produces a stop hunt candle. There are various different stop hunts, and some of them can, last quite a long time, and some of them can be very complex and not as easy to enter, right? So, but the overall level, yeah, is a stop hunt, right? Or potentially to be a stop hunt. So this could be something like maybe a 15-minute chart, where you're getting complex stop hunts in the 15-minute, yeah, where traders are trying to get long, etc., placing all their stop losses below the low. And rather than having to try and figure out whether this is a stop hunt or not, if prices then decide to collapse and go below that, taking out potential stop losses from entries around here, it should produce what we would know as a stop hunt Pinbar candlestick, and we can get involved in this potentially complex stop hunt on the lower time frame, and it would present itself as some sort of pin bar, potential outside candle as well. For you guys that know about the capture pain outside candle, you can go back to see the entries, or even some sort of maybe a little kind of, I would say, doji candle, but a doji candle that potentially ends up maybe doing something like this, where you have something like that. But the key to this is understanding that this has to close bearish as well. Yeah, I don't want to see, you shouldn't want to see a candlestick like this, a bullish candlestick close. kind of bullish candlestick close. You don't want to see that kind of pin bar. You want to see anything that is bearish, that looks like a pin bar or an outside candle at this area. And then what you want to do is look for your entry on the close of this, 4, 6, 8, 12 hour candle. So this would be where your entry is right here. Oh. This would be where your entry is, and your stop loss again 5-10 pips above the high, and again you're looking to trade it down to the potential lows. All right, and if you haven't got access to custom time frames, I would advise you to look for tradingview.com, the pro subscription. There is a monthly fee for that, or if you're on MT4, there are, I think, certain indicators that you can probably download potentially for free or for a small fee, that actually convert price into custom candlesticks. So you can choose these types of candlesticks if they're not available on your trading platform. So now let's look at a couple of examples of this on a price chart. So let's look at the stop hunt pin bar, so high time frame candlestick entry. So what we want to do is first of all look at lower time frame right here. Yeah, and let's bring up the drawing tool. So we've got a nice accurate level here, 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 nice rejections. And then we get in this area here, nice stop hunt. But there wasn't really an opportunity potentially to get involved in here. There was a little bit of a pin bar, but the close was a bit too high as far as it being, there were probably some stop losses around here, but from an entry point of view, not too sure how many traders would be looking to enter, or retracement traders would be looking to enter, especially if you've got a high right there. That potentially being a problem area, even though most traders expect prices to go higher. So my view is that I don't really want prices to kind of reach the highs. I'd rather them kind of fake traders in with price action, but not necessarily reach the high. But for me, there wasn't really a great or fantastic opportunity. This might have been one here, right? This candlestick right here, as it closes below that kind of swing. But generally, it's a bit touch and go, if you know what I mean. So if you do see situations like this, then what you can do is look to the higher time frame. And this candlestick here basically represented all of this. This was a 12-hour time frame right here, and we got a nice reversal type candlestick here. When we see price do something like this, this is where we want to get short, because if we're looking at it again from the position of traders who bought down here, let's maybe change this to another color. All right, traders who bought down here. Oop. Right, so traders who bought down here are going to be doing what? Looking to take profit somewhere around here, because we have a problem area, don't we? We have an area that's been rejected once, twice, 3 times. As traders, you're not taking profit here. This is not somewhere where you're going to be looking to take profit, is it? You're going to be taking profit somewhere around the problematic area. Again, if you're getting short, you're going to be getting short somewhere around this area here, not here. Again, considering breakout traders, are they getting short there? No. Are retracement traders getting short there? No. Are level traders getting short there? No. So as far as meaningful supply, yeah, this has to be, and the chances are of this being a manipulation of some sort, is high. Yeah. So this is pretty much what we saw, and this is the logic behind the stop hunt pin bar and how we take advantage of the with the manipulation that we can't get involved in on maybe a lower time frame, and then this being the candlestick here, and that was it. Stop just above the high, and then look what happened. You get a nice short trade opportunity where you want to try and take at least profits down at potentially the range low, which it end up hitting here, and maybe if you did want to shoot for extended type targets based on some fundamental analysis, then we can see pretty much what happened. So let's move on to another example, and let's again look for where we want to see the stop hunt pin bar candlestick. We can see it right here. Yeah, you can see clearly a level that has been touched. You've got first touch, you can see the second touch where you get a bit of a rejection. Traders, this is the higher time frame, by the way. It's like, I think this is a 6-hour candle, 6-hour chart, where you get, and then again on a lower time frame, this would have been various different candles, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candlesticks, etc. Yeah, looking like this is gonna go short after a nice rejection here. Where are all the stop losses? All the stop losses are placed above the swing, and then we get our pin bar, stop hunt pin bar type candlestick right there. Again, the question you always have to ask yourself is, who is taking profit? Yeah, and who is shorting from here beyond an obvious level of resistance or supply? And then we get move up, move down. Your entry is right here, stop just above the high, and then we can basically go on our merry way. Again, the targets being around potentially the range lows, as long as you've got more than a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio on this entry. You could have taken it to here, or you could have been taking it down to the absolute lows. And again, fundamentals are key, because this is fundamentals are what is really going to drive prices to where to the downside potentially. Let's have a look now at another example. Here we go. Another example. Nice, clean level, an accurate level, where you get there. In here you get a bit of a level, and what we want to do as well, we want to see a pin bar candle, and I'll show you with the good, with obviously the bad. Not everything works out 100%. Now, could you have taken this? And I would say yes, you could have taken this. All right. Preferably, you want to see a candlestick that does convince a lot of traders that this level has gone. The longer the wick, the better. Above a certain level, that there maybe it might have been 10, 15 pips, potentially worth a go. And obviously the real stop hunt came around here, so there would have been a lot of traders getting short here on this, and this is a nice outside candlestick here, and there would have been probably a lot of traders getting short there. The market knows where their stop losses are. Again, if it needs to buy for cheaper, right, then we know that once this has occurred, because again, how many traders are going to be shorting at these highs? Nope. Who's going to be selling here? Who's going to be taking profit at there? Doesn't make any logical sense. And then we get another outside candle where that now looks lovely, closes right here, stop just above the high, and then you go for the lows of the range, as long as that represents more than a 1-to-1 type trade. And then let's look at an example to the upside. So let's look at this, zoom in a little bit, where we have a nice level here, and there, where are the stop losses placed? Right here, to varying degrees. Nice little outside candle there. Prices start to look like they're going higher. Yeah, and what we also want to do is to ensure that the stop losses are probably still there. You don't want prices to go too far higher, and this applies to all stop hunt setups, because if prices go higher, yeah, then how many stop losses are really going to be here? Because traders are doing what? They're taking profit. Yeah, they're taking profit along the way. Because if this represents, let's go, if your risk, you've entered on that candle, that's your risk, you want to go for at least 2-to-1, 3-to-1s, right? Depending on obviously your, or at least a 1-to-1. And if it goes too far, then the chances of many traders still being in here and having a stop loss down here is quite low, because they would have exited from take profit, and once they take profit, then they remove their stop losses. So what you don't want to see is prices go too far in the direction, and I would probably say maybe even 50% of the range. If it starts to go 50% of the range, then maybe there's not as much stop losses around here. So you want to see failures in price, price not really kind of go any much higher. And again, where are the stop losses? All below the low, right? These guys are entering here, and then you get an area where you get the stop hunt pin bar. So again, if you sold here, you sold all the way up here, where are you taking profit? At least here, at a problematic area. Who is buying when the level is broken? Again, breakout traders? Nope. Retracement traders? Nope. Level traders? No. No one's buying. There's no retail trading down here. Yeah. Again, this may look a bit complex on the lower time frame, where we may not get an entry. So what we can do is look for higher time frames like the 4, the 6, the 8, the 12 hour, and wait for prices to close, go down, look like a stop hunt, and close above. And then what we want to do is enter on the close of that candlestick there, stop just below the low, 5-10 pips below, and then look for prices to accelerate, hopefully, to the upside. Yeah, so it's just a pin bar where you've got a nice wick that goes beyond the level. That should be a manipulation on the lower time frame if you can't get in on the lower time frame, and then we look for trades to the upside. So guys, I hope that that helps. And if you do have any questions, please email me at info@trading180.com, or if you're not in the Telegram group, join the Telegram coaching community. We have a friendly bunch of traders. I'll be in there pretty much nearly every day, and you'll get plenty of support, trade setups, in there. So guys, Again, take care, and I will see you soon.